Hi guys, hope you're doing well this evening. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates. And this is part 5.
Part five. Part five and final.
Yep.
We're hoping on Oakley Dean Baldwin
Mhm.
and his interview that he did um concerning his book that he had written,
Mhm.
which, in my opinion, is a copycat book from Mike Elam. Mike Elam wrote his in 2020, and Oakley Baldwin wrote his in 2021, a year later. But it's nothing more than a copycat. He let Mike Elam do the work, and then he copied the book. It's what I believe, what it looks like to me. In that last video, guys, we left on a note where he was talking about nurses being heroes and such as that. I've been researching. I'm not finding nothing. Not finding nothing. I'm anxious to see what he puts in that last video in the comments. The story. Hopefully, him or somebody can give us a story. Not where nurses actually killed patients,
Mhm.
not where they angels of death and stuff like that, but where they got them sick to the point of them almost dying and then saving their lives so they could be heroes. I thought that was very interesting of his comment when using that for an example. Let's go ahead and play the next video, his baby, number 41.
Had originally thought. So why didn't Buford Pusser straighten that out with the TBI earlier, I don't know, because it was just 5 years later when he gave this under oath, this 4 a.m. So he gets...
Stop. Guys, again, there is no report of Buford Pussers, but like Sheila said earlier, when you're in that kind of situation, do you really take time to look at your watch? Time stands still when a plane's crashing, you're being shot at, your house is burning down, you're in a car accident.
Mhm.
Do you really? Baldwin's on the Pusser because his times are off by 45 minutes. He's off 45 minutes here or there. But there's no timesheet. He says this, but there's no dispatch log because he wasn't dispatched. There's no, but he wants to call by word of mouth and written in the history in his book. He wants to call Buford out on the timeline. Go ahead, Paul.
Thinking in his mind, I've got to fill some time with my story here because this happened at 4 a.m. He didn't actually call.
Didn't happen at 4 a.m., guys. Carl got the first call at 4 a.m. Buford didn't get the second call till around 5 that he went out, him and Pauline, because Pauline woke Diane up.
Right. And said that he'd got a call and she was going to go with him because once he gets started talking, she said there's no telling how long he'll talk. She said he could talk forever.
And they
So
were going on vacation that day and they wanted to get out of there early.
The morning that he got shot, I cut his hair that afternoon, late that afternoon, and he was telling me that he was going to Kentucky to visit his in-laws, and he was laughing about that, said, you have to go sometime. And that was late in the afternoon, and he got shot the next day.
Yep.
So she's already up. I'll tell you how they're already up because she's already got caffeine in her system. When they done the autopsy, Elam said they'd been out bar hopping all night. Her and Pauline and Levon had been drinking all night before Buford. They got in right before Buford got in, 2:00 in the morning. They just come home from out drinking all night. But yet her kids are in there in the bed. They done the autopsy on her 58 years later. They found caffeine, no alcohol. Caffeine. Been drinking coffee with her husband. We've done that. We've gone on calls or on something and make a pot of coffee before we leave. We always make the coffee before we go to bed at night, get called out while we're getting dressed, hit the pot.
Yep.
By the time we get ready to go, our cups are sitting there. We
Fill them up.
Yeah,
Take off.
we've done that. Do it all the time. Do it now, don't we, babe?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Punk.
Anytime we go down the road like that, yeah.
For help until 6:20 a.m., which is 2 hours.
2 hours and 20 minutes later, guys, from what he says. If you want to listen to Oakley, 2 hours and 20 minutes later, by his clock, by his calculator, by his spoken into history. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, that sounds like a long time. It is a long time by his clock. What was he telling us earlier? Payoffs. But nobody could attest to it except the witnesses and the bartenders, the club owners. That's witnesses. Let's see if they can attest to it later on. Go through these stories, go through these last 4 videos, and look at the times that he's made a statement and it's been incorrect. It's been untrue. It's been false. It's been a lie, in my opinion. And then see if you want to believe this 2 hour and 20 minute. There's no report. Buford Pusser didn't do a report. He didn't give a written statement that's in the file that anybody's ever seen to this date, not since 1976. Nobody has seen Buford Pusser's statement, if he gave one, since 1976. It's gone forevermore. Somebody cabbaged on it. It's a souvenir. Buford Pusser, 1973, movie star, famous, walking tall. He's so famous that you got prosecutors and TBI directors and book writers wanting to cabbage on his fame. That's how famous he is. And then you're looking through these files for something, Buford Pusser in the P's, and you're looking for Phillips. Let me see if I can find Roy Phillips's file here. Wait a minute. What? Pusser. Wow. Buford Pusser. Oh, walking tall. That's a look at here, boy. That'd be a souvenir someday. I'm going to take that. I'm going to cabbage on that. Back in the old days, our shirts, well, not the old days, the new days, you got zippers on our uniforms. We had a deputy sheriff that worked in the clerk's office, and people would pay him bribes, the money, and he would go get the file. He was allowed behind the clerk's desk, and he would go to the clerks. It's in our complaint that we filed with the FBI and the state police when we turned the corrupt sheriff in, because the sheriff's got him doing it. He figured out a way where he could please the sheriff and get a vote by taking care of this ticket, but he could also get 50, 75, sometimes $100. Person'd rather pay that. If they're one ticket away from suspending their license and he can get that ticket, and he go in there and unzip that shirt, take that file, stick in that shirt and zip it up. Case is gone. Case dismissed. No other cases, unless you happen to be the police officer that wrote the ticket, arrested the guy, and you've got the pink copy, the police officer's copy, and then they start looking through these and they say, where's this file at? We don't see that no more. Well, can you check in? And then they go look at the index box and they say, yeah, here's where it was checked in. Here's the file, but there's no file back here in the box. It's gone. We don't have it. Take care about 6 or 8 tickets every day, $600 or $800 cash. Sheriff's happy. He's getting votes. The deputy was making a killing.
Did they have like a sign in and sign out sheet, or like if you had to go back there into the
Nobody was allowed back there except the
file?
clerks.
Oh, okay.
Clerks were allowed back there, and Melvin. Melvin was allowed back there because Melvin got along with the clerks real good, and he was from over in that area. And so he would go behind the office. Now, once we turned him in, the clerk, she put him off limits. He could no longer come back there. But by then, the FBI's there, the state police are there. And that's she resigned.
Yeah.
They were going to charge her. They were going to indict her, and the prosecutor just again put everything off. And that's the prosecutor that told me to. You should have killed him, Fred. You should have rid society of him. Should have killed the little fella. Should have rid society of him. It ain't my job to rid society. It's my job to bring them to jail. And your job to prosecute them.
Right.
I ain't gonna tell that story again. I've told it enough, but that's real life. That's real happenings. That's real stories that I tell. I don't make these up on a whim like that. Go ahead.
One more thing. Again, according to what they are calling Buford's statement. It's written in third person.
Yeah.
It's not. Buford's not telling it.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No, it's even written in third person. He keeps saying, and Elam says that in Buford's statement. Them experts say that in Buford's statement, but yet Buford's statement is written in third person. Buford said he ran around the car. Buford said that's third person. That's not Buford. Somebody wrote that Buford said this or Buford said that.
There's your red flag.
That's a red flag. Yeah. You know what red flags are, don't you, baby?
Ready?
Yeah.
At the state line. And he even says, and then when he couldn't find a blue Cadillac, he drove back down to Jordan's beer joint, which is another, I don't know, 6 or 8 miles or 10 miles. Why isn't he driving to the hospital? Why didn't he leave and take Pauline, who's sitting beside him?
Stop.
Do you know who you're talking to? I happen to be Buford Chief Justice.
Because she's dead. Because Pauline is dead, Mr. Baldwin. Take her to the hospital for what? Take her to the hospital so they can transfer her down to the basement, to the morgue, or they can transfer her to the, Shackleford Funeral Home? Take her to the hospital for what? She's got at least 3 bullet holes in her head. Her head's blown apart in 4 different places. She's bled out. Take her to the hospital for what? Why didn't he take her to the hospital? Because Buford Pusser by then was out for blood. Why is Buford Pusser, huh?
He wanted to catch whoever did it.
He wanted to kill whoever did it. Why did Buford Pusser drive around looking for a blue Cadillac? Because Buford Pusser was Buford Pusser.
Do you know who you're talking to? I happen to be Buford Chief Justice.
Because Buford Pusser was walking tall. They don't make a movie about people like Mr. Baldwin or Fred McCoy or Mike Elam. They make movies about Buford Pusser. People that does this stuff, not people that talks about it. Buford Pusser had the reputation for doing this. Would we expect anything else? Would we, a war hero? Would you expect anything else than these guys that run and throw themselves on top of a grenade and you've done something with, and you can just tell that that's the kind of person that person was? Buford Pusser had that reputation. Go ahead, Punk.
His wife, why didn't he take her to the hospital to try to save her?
Why didn't he try to save her? She's dead, sir. She's got at least 3 high velocity rounds that went through her head. The bullets ain't even still in her head. They came out the other side. Take her to the hospital. Guys, this man says he's a Coast Guard intelligence officer and a former police officer of 35 years. If you guys believe that, you probably believe that Buford Pusser killed his wife. You probably believe what he tells you. Look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. What witnesses? What witnesses? If he was that powerful, why would he shoot himself in the jaw? That's where he's talking about that he could get things taken care of.
Yeah.
Memphis medical records. Why hasn't nobody went to Memphis hospital? Why hasn't somebody gone and pulled the records, or have they? And then they got them and they realized that Buford had been there anywhere from 16 to 18 times for reconstructive surgery. And they said, well, we can't use that. That's exculpatory. We don't want to put that out there. That makes Buford look too good. It's easier just to keep that hid. Let's just say that he got it stitched up and went home. Go ahead.
Got his jaw stitched up, So my first book, I had to be real careful because the TBI wasn't saying it either, at that time. But once they picked it up and started the cold case and looked at the evidence again, what they had, and then
The TBI picked it up. In the beginning, he had to be real careful what he said, because he was just following Mike Elam's book, and he's afraid he might get sued. Because, see, they didn't do all this until after 2018. Mike Elam didn't really come out with his podcast real big. He didn't come out with his book until 2020. Whoa, what happened in 2018? Why all of a sudden in 2020 did all heck break loose? Podcasts and books and bus tours. Oh, wait a minute, that's right. Buford's daughter, Pauline's daughter, passed away. Whoa, DeWanna's dead. Nobody's there to fight back now. Boy, we can say whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. DeWanna's dead. DeWanna's dead. I can just see these two guys dancing around. DeWanna's dead. That's the impression I get. I could be wrong. It's my opinion. That's the impression I get. And even TBI and Mr. Davison. One is dead. We can do whatever we want now. Dig her up now. We can do this. I see you, babe. Boy, this is sad.
It really is.
It was after 2018, and all of a sudden they broke loose and they said, we can say whatever we want. We can do what we want. All the people's dying off. They don't want to get involved. Only one's going to get involved is Griffin. We got him. Let's go get Griffin the site. Put his John Henry here. This is about the dirtiest thing, guys. You're going to find out in history. Sheila and I will be dead. We'll be gone one day. But when somebody comes out here in Hollywood or somewhere and says, hey, we're not going to let this happen. We're going to correct this. And they do a story on how two mediocre, intelligent men, and that's probably questionable, like mine. I feel you. I said like mine. I'm not claiming to be no brain surgeon. Put me in the same category with them. I don't care. When you can take two men like this and they can scribble down some lines and make it into a book, because everybody publishes books nowadays. It's not hard at all to go do a self-published book. Shucks, we've got 16 or 18 of them. We've done all kinds of books. You'll probably have to. I'm just going to show a couple. Start showing them up there. Just show. Just hold them up there for a minute. Just to show. That's the books. That's just some of the books. That Sheila and I, some of them may not show up good.
Some of them are real
because
floppy.
they're, yeah.
The gloss on them.
So guys, anybody, look here, I even wrote a joke book years ago.
Figure.
I quit selling it because some of the jokes were dirty and I'm trying to live right now. So I quit. Show that one.
See that one?
So but we don't have no books for sale. But everybody and their uncle writes books nowadays, because you just get on Google and download the PDF and send it to a company and they'll print it for you. Don't take nothing to write a book. Don't take nothing. You can see that. You can see that through me. I ain't going to use Sheila because Sheila's got a cookbook. I didn't even show it, did we? Sheila wrote it.
I think so.
She wrote a Hatfield
Maybe.
McCoy cookbook years ago. Good recipes in there. But anybody can write a book. Look at me and Mr. Elam, Mr. Baldwin. Guys, when you write these books, you don't have to write the truth. Not everybody writes the truth. And what's going to be amazing to a movie producer someday, or a real book writer that goes for evidence, that goes for the truth rather than just what's going to be amazing to them is when they see that the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, one of the top, if not the top, law enforcement agency in Tennessee, got hornswoggled by a couple of they got hornswoggled. The 25th Attorney General of the 25th District of Tennessee got hornswoggled. Got hornswoggled by two men that writes books. That's the story. That's your movie. Mr. Davison wants to talk about sequels and Walking Tall, and he done a sequel, and he done Rock Johnson or whatever it is. That's not one of my favorite actors, so I don't watch his movies, but goodness sakes. This movie right here, when they ever do a movie on how this happened in America in 2025, that a case was 58 years old and they accused a man of murdering his own wife that he's buried beside of. Had Buford went out and got married another woman and been buried in another grave 3 cemeteries over, or had he done anything, this man's buried beside of his wife. In 7 years, he didn't remarry. In 7 years, he didn't say, I feel so bad about killing her. I can't be buried beside of her. I'm going to change plots. I'll leave that spot open between me and her and let DeWanna have that someday. And I'll go the next spot over. I'll do anything. Did he do that? He's buried beside of his wife.
Yep.
Go ahead. Help me out here.
No, you're good.
It's unbelievable. Go ahead, babe.
Interviewed new witnesses who were afraid to talk back then. This man was so powerful. He had just killed Louise Hathcock in a questionable manner.
I want to come back to Louise Hathcock in a questionable manner, but he said in 2025 there was new witnesses come out. Witnesses that were afraid to talk back then. Who are they?
Yeah.
Who are these witnesses? A couple of people hanging around a parking lot that's dead now? Who are these witnesses? Dennis Hathcock, a young kid says he followed Buford around all night instead of TBI interrogating him and polygraphing. And that Dennis Hathcock, if there ever was a suspect to a homicide and an ambush, in my opinion, as a police officer, it would be Dennis Hathcock. Dennis Hathcock knows something about what happened that night. He's admitted it. He's admitted that he followed them around. He talks about new witnesses in 2025. They were afraid to come out then. Okay, then the case is over. You don't wait till the man's dead. Is that fair to Buford? To wait till he's dead because he's so powerful? He's so powerful, but he shoots half his face off because he's so powerful he could have had anything done, but I'm just going to shoot my face off for good measure. Can you imagine your tongue, your gums, your jaw, your teeth, your taste, your feel, your most sensitive part of your whole human body, your face? And a good-looking guy that prided himself on looking good. He's a wrestler. Look at these big-time wrestlers, how they've always been like that. He's a showboat. Buford Pusser was a showboat. Wrestling bears, joining the Marines, and he's going to shoot himself in his face. He had all these friends, powerful friends, but he couldn't shoot himself in the arm or the leg, the ear.
Graze himself.
I mean, nick the head, not in the head, but
yeah.
nick. This man was so powerful that he shoots himself in the jaw. He just had killed Louise Hathcock. He just got through saying, and he said that's questionable. Go ahead.
She, you want to play the
No,
video?
go ahead. What was you going to say?
Well, she was killed the year before, but it's because she tried to kill Buford.
Yeah.
It was in self-defense.
Yeah. Buford never shot nobody. We're not Buford fans, guys. We're not taking
No.
up for Buford. We're
No.
telling you what history has said as far as the story or the evidence. I was going to wait till we finished playing her, but the evidence says that it was self-defense. Buford shot Louise because Louise shot at Buford. P.D. Plunk recovered the round on the outside. She can put that video right here for you.
Out of the office into number one cabin, which was her living quarters. And as he got inside of the door of the number one cabin, she had on a sweater with pockets in it. And she had this little snub-nosed 38 in there. And she come out with that 38 and said, "I'm going to kill you." And she wheeled with the gun. Buford seen her, and he fell across the bed just as she fired. And then from the looks of it, she had fired at the big part of him, which was his chest. And as he went down, put his head where his chest would normally been, and I'd say she missed his head approximately 4 inches. The bullet went out the window into the post that holds the shed up in front of the office. And unless they put a new post there, and I doubt it, you'll see a chip chopped out of there now. It's where I took a hatchet and cut the bullet out of the post that she had fired it in.
Went out on the porch and took the round that went through the window. It missed Buford, went through the window and hit the fence post out on the front. He recovered it, and then he shot and killed her. They had a grand jury inquiry. Buford asked for an autopsy on her. Buford didn't want no questions to be asked because he knew he had the state line mob. He knew what was going to be said and what they were going to. He had them to do an autopsy. Now, Mike Elam said, "Oh, she's shot in the back." No, she turned around. He shot her in the shoulder, in the front, turned her around, shot her in the back. If you're justified in shooting somebody one time, you're justified in shooting them 15. If you're justified in shooting a person in the front, you're justified in shooting them in the back. Once that attack started, you're justified until the threat is over. And how long does it take to go boom, boom, boom? And the shots go wherever they go. The body may be twisting every which way. I don't want to be like Mr. Baldwin here and act like I know it all, because I don't. But she was shot, the first shot in the front, and then she twisted around, shot her in the back, and then shot her in the head in the front again. That's what the autopsy shows, but we're not on that case. That's what these guys want to do. See how they bring up Louise Hathcock, and now they had me going to Louise. By them bringing up,
Redirecting.
Thank you, babe. See how they redirect? Instead of talking about Louise and concentrating on the ambush, I mean, not Louise, but Pauline.
Yeah.
Instead of concentrating on Pauline and the ambush and husband killing her, he goes to Louise Hathcock. Elam does that. They go to all kinds of different stories because they want to point. They go to payoffs. They go to bribes. They go to making moonshine. How does that prove that Buford killed his wife? We're talking about standing up on a podium and saying this man murdered his wife. Forget Louise Hathcock. Forget payoffs. Forget bribes. Forget beating up people. Forget being heavy-handed. Forget carrying a stick. Forget movie deals. Show us the evidence where Buford Pusser murdered his wife. Now, he's got a point. Louise Hathcock had something to do with Pauline Pusser's death because Buford Pusser had killed her the year before.
So I feel, and I'm sure you do too, that it was in retaliation.
Sure, it's in retaliation. Why was Dennis Hathcock, her nephew, out following Buford around that night? Just so happened to be a Hathcock following Buford around. Just so happened to be the rumor later on that W.O. and Nix and all these people had something to do with it. Is that rumors? Could be. Could be just rumors. Hathcock, Dennis said, I watched him with my own eyes and heard him with my own ears tell Elam that he followed Buford around that night, all night, till he went home. He knew what time he went home, he said. Who does that? And then just so happened, he just got in bed that morning when somebody called and said, Buford's been shot. Oh, really? just got in bed. All of a sudden, the news is out. TBI missed their mark, guys. When I say TBI, all you TBI guys, I'm not talking about everybody in the TBI. You can't associate. That's like saying all cops are crooked, all preachers are sinners, all. It's like saying you can't. I'm not putting all of you guys in the TBI into this same lot. It's disgraceful that you have to have a director representing you like you have, but evidently the governor there, Bill Lee, is not going to do nothing about it. So just have to wait till the next governor comes in. I'm sure that will be changed. I don't think the people will go along with that. Him staying there with the next governor. That's probably one of the campaign promises, is that he'll be replacing the TBI director, because he doesn't do the TBI justice. We've still got missing kids. We've still got missing kids out here, and they're out here flying. Sheila, they're flying an airplane from McNairy County to Louisville, Kentucky, to get a man to sign to dig up a grave. And they could have been using that airplane to fly around looking for Sebastian or Summer Wells.
Yeah.
They didn't use that airplane to fly around looking for Sebastian. But daggone, let's ride to Louisville. Get this old senile guy to sign these papers for us so we can dig his grave up. Louise Hathcock. Was he done with that one?
I don't know. You want me to check it and see?
I think it was. Go ahead, next.
Now his wife comes up dead. Sheriff is extremely powerful. You don't.
The sheriff is extremely powerful.
Louise Hathcock. There was no question about Louise Hathcock, guys. She had an autopsy. She was shot and killed. They recovered the gun. They recovered the bullet that was shot at Buford. They took it to the grand jury. The grand jury came back with a no true bill. Now, I've said it many a time, you can indict a bologna sandwich. Why didn't they indict Buford Pusser? Because the evidence wasn't there. There wasn't even a smell of evidence of anything been done wrong, because they would have indicted him. Just takes nine of the 12 for an indictment. They come back with a no true bill. They knew what Louise was. They knew Louise's reputation. She just killed her husband a year or two before that. She just shot her husband and let him crawl all over the parking lot while he bled out. W.O. just shot somebody before that or right after it. He killed somebody himself. These people were bad people. These people were bad people. Now, 58 years later, that doesn't mean their offspring's bad. That doesn't mean their children's bad. That doesn't mean their grandchildren's bad. You can change. People can change the course of history. I've seen criminal histories posted on other people. I'm not going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other relatives of theirs with criminal histories. Nothing as bad as theirs. But sometimes the twig don't fall far from the tree, and sometimes it sprouts out and goes a totally different direction. There's still time for this case to go in such a totally different direction. If Dennis Hathcock would ever come to, I ain't gonna say come to his senses. I don't want to insult him. I'm not trying to. I don't have nothing against Dennis Hathcock. He's not even wrote a book. It's his family, and he's letting other people use him and make money off of him and his stories. Dennis ain't even tried to make no money from it. He just follows around like a little puppy dog, and they use them, abuse them, and throw them out with the dishwater. Dennis Hathcock could get with a movie producer or somebody in Hollywood. I'll guarantee you they'd do a movie on Dennis if he'd tell the true story. He'd have to tell the true story. He'd have to clear up Buford's reputation. Now, I know he hates Buford or has hated him for years, but if he's joined church and living right, hey, let God will get his revenge. If anybody's done anything wrong in life, God, vengeance is his, he says.
Yep.
Dennis Hathcock could come out and tell the truth, and friends and foes and neutral people alike would be there to hear that story. because he's about the only one left that
was
knows
there.
the story.
That was around that time, yeah.
That knows the story. I wish he'd really consider that. I wish he'd, if he only knew how valuable he is, because there's not always, you talk about a living legend, just knowing what he knows and why he was following him around that night, who paid him to follow him around, who was he telling people when he went home? Who did he tell he's home now?
Who did he report into? Yeah.
Who, there's so much. There's so much. Go ahead, Punk. Let's finish this video up.
Okay. There we go.
People that I haven't talked to. So anyone who reads this report is going to be just amazed at how this legend ever got started and how large it got out of control of him being a crime fighter and this, moonshine.
Anybody who reads this report's going to be amazed. You're going to be amazed that there's 2 lot lizards supposedly out in a parking lot at 4 o'clock in the morning that hears Buford and Pauline fussing. They can't fuss at their own home. They had to get in their car and drive 30 miles to a rundown nightclub to pick a fight with each other and argue because supposedly Buford's dating a black woman. He's having an affair with a black woman, not just a woman, but she's black. And the story was that these 2 women went outside to smoke at 4 o'clock in the morning and they heard this. First of all, the nightclub's closed at 12 o'clock. They lived in the back, is what we were told. Shirley did. She lived in the back of the club, so why would she go outside to smoke? There was no smoking inside at that time. That didn't come up for years later, guys. Somebody's thinking about modern day times. When they were telling this story, they said they went outside to smoke like you do nowadays. If somebody's at the hospital, they say, "Where's Charlie at?" "Oh, he's outside smoking." "Where's Felicia at?" "Oh, she's outside smoking." Nobody went outside to smoke back then. So that story's fabricated. That story's hearsay. Hearsay, in my opinion. That's what he's going by. He says there's reports. You're going to be amazed by this report. Well, we've seen some of the report. We've seen where one of the fellows said that the TBI, he told them one thing and they wrote down something else. That's what he said. He's still alive. They can still talk to him. That's what he told Sheila and I on a tape. We made a video. He tells us that. They didn't write it down right. They changed the words or whatever it was he said.
They changed some of the
We'll
words.
be amazed. Those that don't have dementia or old as the hills are dead. The rest of them is just hearsay. The rest of them, it's hearsay. We don't convict people of murder on hearsay. But you're going to be amazed at this report. They don't even have the evidence, guys. They don't even have the file. But you're going to be amazed, this man says, by the report. Making his own moonshine. Go ahead, let them play this.
Destroyer and that kind of stuff. People even saying they made moonshine for him to sell, and what he was doing is getting rid of his competition when he busted up other stills. So it's going to be a good story.
Stop. He said the magic word. Go ahead, Sheila.
It's going to be a good story.
It's going to be a good story, guys. He said the magic word right there. It's going to be a good story. Since when do we call convicting a man because of a story? Who do we convict of murder because of a story? I thought Lady Justice was blind. You convict people of crimes dealing with the proof and the evidence that something happened and they did it. Not by the going to be a great story. Great story there. I'm going to even write a book about it. Somebody else made his moonshine for him. Go ahead, Punk. This guy is an amateur, guys. This guy here is just he's a Mike Elam wants to be, and he copies people's book. I'm going to show you on the last video we show here. He just copies other people's books and makes a story out of it. In my opinion, that's what he does. TBI report going to be a good story, and that's what it is, a story. This man right here copycat. He copied Mike Elam's book, the first one, and then he got in there, thought he could get some notoriety, made friends with old Griffin. He's called Griffin up, made contact with him so he could have an inside scoop. TBI's hooked up with them. They flew their plane down there and got them to sign them papers, and the rest is history. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here between Mr. Rouse, Mr. Davison, Baldwin, Elam. They have affected the history of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations for decades to come. Decades to come, guys. I don't know that they'll ever recover the TBI from the reputation that they've got now and that they're going to get as these stories grow. As the evidence comes out, especially when these civil cases are filed and they get into court. When these civil cases are filed and they get into a courtroom where lawyers can defend this family's name, the Vance name, the Pusser name, the credibility damage that Mr. Roush and Mr. Davison has done is going to last way beyond them living. They'll be dead and gone, and their history is still going to be out there as to what they done. They tried to defame a man of his reputation, and they ended up committing S-side to themselves with their reputation. They have destroyed their own. You talk about shooting yourself in your foot. They shot themselves in the foot. They misjudged this case. Children's missing all over Tennessee. The TBI has not only got manpower out here investigating a 58-year-old cold case for publicity purposes, they're flying a plane. They can't get in a car and drive to Louisville, Kentucky to get a signature like it's an emergency, like it has to happen. They could have used that airplane to flew around, look for Sebastian and drove to Louisville. No. Next one, babe.
And open the cold case. I was hoping that they would for Pauline. Her brother is the only one left alive. When I interviewed Clayton and
I was hoping they'd open the cold case for Pauline. You know, Pauline, the one that had allegedly, mama's baby, daddy's maybe, the one that probably had an affair. Her and her husband split up. She's probably out fooling around. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. I was hoping they'd open it for Pauline because we want justice for Pauline. You know, the old skank that went out and got pregnant by somebody else. That there's no proof that ever happened, but that's what he's saying. That's what he implied earlier. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. We don't know who the pops is. Yeah. Maybe other people should get DNAs.
Walter,
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Griffon and Aline and Kathleen, they wanted to know what happened.
Guys, he just said, when I interviewed Walter, Griffon, Clayton, Aileen, and Catherine, when I interviewed, I like to put him under a polygraph. I like to get a sworn statement from him first, get a sworn statement, and then ask, and probably get a sworn statement when he's on the stand. If these civil suits go through like we're thinking, when he's on the stand under oath, they may ask him. Now, when you talk to Griffon, when you talk to Clayton, when you talk to Walter, that's funny. He said his research didn't start till 2016. Walter was dead in 2015. See there? It's okay for him to talk about Buford. It's okay for him to talk about Pauline. It's okay for him to talk about anybody. But boy, you question his truthfulness. question his character, his integrity, honesty. He's having a come apart right now. During these last 4 videos, he's having a come apart. I didn't say nothing. All I've done is gone over his videos, his statements, and corrected them with either my opinion or with proof. Most of the time with proof. And if it was opinion, it's only because you can't prove something. Sometimes the best evidence you have is evidence that's not there, that didn't happen, that you can't prove. You can't prove something that didn't happen. So when I say my opinion, it's only because I can't prove it because there's no proof to it. It didn't happen. He says he interviewed Walter. Go ahead, Punk.
To their sister.
Go ahead and let it play next one if you want.
Report has already been released to the press, and I've seen a copy of that. I don't think it's a complete copy, but it's floating around on the internet. And they said that Pauline had a remote nasal bone fracture, and that's the bridge of your nose bone. And when they say remote, that's a medical term for possible domestic violence. Now, tying
Guys, if you would, stop this video right here and switch over to another screen and Google. What's it called?
Remote nasal.
Google remote nasal. You don't have to. You don't have to. Sheila will put that.
I'll place it there.
Sheila will put that right here because nowhere there, and you should be looking at it right now. Nowhere there does it say remote nasal fracture is related to a domestic violence. Nowhere. He just spoke that into history. Google. Don't take my word for it. Google remote nasal fracture. And that's what this fella has done throughout. The autopsy showed no abuse, guys. No abuse. No lower extremities, upper extremities, no abuse. Go ahead, babe. Let it play.
The thing that I found real particular in the autopsy report that nobody's talked about yet, so this is fresh off the book or off the page, was at one point Buford stated that he was looking directly at Pauline when she was shot in the forehead. So Pauline would have to be looking at him.
Oh. Why would she have to be looking at him? I'm looking at Sheila and she's looking at the computer screen. You better look at me. I'm looking at you. Why does Pauline have to be looking at Buford because he's looking at her? Why?
I can see you right now out of my peripheral
Buford
vision.
said he saw. I'm sorry, guys. Buford didn't say nothing. That's what was written in Warren Jones's statement. Buford said this. Buford said that. I can say right now, Mr. Elam said that I was the best looking fella he'd ever seen in his life. And I could write it on a piece of paper. And that's what I've got, a piece of paper where I'm saying, not Elam, but Mr. Baldwin. You're just going to correct me once. Baldwin.
Sorry.
I could write it on the paper with no signature, no nothing. It means about as much as it's not true. I forget where I was at. Garbage just dumped out front or something.
Yeah. No, you was talking about
She would have been looking at him.
Yeah, the forehead.
She would have been looking, and Buford said that he saw her shot in the forehead. Is what he's saying. We don't know. Buford's statement is gone since 1976. His statement is gone. There's not a signed statement out there witnessed with Buford's signature on it. So all we got is what they're saying, which is nothing. They said Buford said that he saw her shot in the forehead. If she's sitting here like this, and we got 2 bullet holes in the back of her head, one of the bullet holes come to the left here and exited it on the left side of her head and out her left eyeball. Remember in the autopsy, left globe missing. Left globe is your left eye. So Buford could have seen her front eyeball and blood shoot out the front of her head and automatically thought she'd been shot in the front. You see somebody bleeding from the front, you see an injury to the front, you're thinking, wow, just got shot in the front of the head. You're not thinking about a bullet coming through the back. I don't know how he's thinking. I wasn't there. I don't even know that Buford even said that he was looking at her or she was shot in the head.
Right.
We know that she was. We know that a bullet come out her eyeball, her left side of her head, this big old 8-inch piece here. Not only did this come out, another round also went in here.
Yeah.
Why? It was also an exit wound. It was an entrance wound because that bullet that went in here came out the left or the right frontal temporal plate. And that's what Dennis Hathcock found that had gone through that window along with the bullet and her hair and some of her brain matter into the ditch. Not a hard story to understand, guys. This is not a hard, nothing dealing with Buford and Pauline is fresh off the page, unless it's something Elam and Baldwin or the TBI just decided to write into history. He said, this is something fresh off the page. Nobody's even on this. This has been a story that's been out there forever. Mike Elam wrote about this and podcasted that he said she was shot in the front of the head. Mr. Baldwin's acting like he's just now coming up with this. Come on. Give me a break, man. Come on, man. That's it, guys. Last one. Let it play.
If the vehicle's on his driver's side, autopsy showed that she was not shot in the forehead, but she was shot from the back to the front. So that's another,
last one, guys.
Giving Pauline her voice from the grave was the best reason for the autopsy. Now, they haven't released what they have found, anything under the scrapings of her fingernails, if they did x-rays of her full body, if she had any other injuries. So I didn't see anything like that in what I saw that was released on the internet.
It's not hard to write a book when you copy off somebody else's book. It's my opinion. I've seen that with the Hatfields and the McCoys. That's why Sheila and my books, they're totally different from anything you'll read because we went for court documents and records, and some people says they do that now. And some of them's even copied documents that we put in when we wrote our books, and that's okay. We don't. But that book right there, The Make One Effect, Bloody Mingo. Mingo County is Wimpson and Make One, West Virginia. Mingo County, West Virginia is borders, other than the Tug River in between, Pike County, Kentucky. Mingo County is the next county over. We cross over a bridge to go to Make One or go to Wimpson, West Virginia. Pike County, where we grew up, is just a few miles from the West Virginia border. Bloody Mingo is part of our history back there. Mingo County Mine Wars, when they had the big shootouts. Google. You don't have to buy a book. Google Mingo County blood, the bloodiest war in Mingo County, and Bloody Mingo. That's what it's known as. Google it. Look at some of the videos that's on there. Some great videos. Who would want to read a book when you can watch a video? Mr. Elam, Mr. Baldwin, in order to have 32 books that they've wrote, this one right here, I guarantee you that you can compare to somebody else's book or to a video that's on YouTube. And I would say, in my opinion, I'm allowed to have my opinion. I would say that a lot of that material in there is off of other people's books or off of videos. Same way with Mike Elam's book. Now he tries to act like he come out with the first book, like the TBI contacted him before they did anybody else. He was the one that got the cold case open. That's not true. Mike Elam got this cold case open. Him and Ricky Plunk, when they produced that gun. That's what they needed. And TBI may have even told them, guys, we need something. We need something more than just your book. We got to have some evidence. And they've said, hey, Dad's got an old gun. I could say this. I could say, they may have made that story up. Who knows? Guys, we know this is drug out into a 5-segment series.
Yeah.
For the two of you that followed us through the whole series, thank you.
Thank you. We
Hope you
appreciate
learned
it.
something, or hope you agreed with us. You probably know more than we do. We just do this in case it will help somebody down the road that's working on a case and that needs to use any of this for a case or can explain anything. We're not lawyers. We're not pathologists. We're not sociologists or psychiatrists.
Nope.
We could probably use all those things at one time or another, but we're not even very smart. We don't even profess to be very smart. We got some common sense. We got some morals. We don't like to see people done wrongly.
Right.
Someday I'm going to tell you another story on Buford here, on something dealing with Buford, something. I'll tell you something else. May give you a better understanding. Ain't right. Go ahead, Punk. You can. It ain't right to do people like this.
No, I agree with you. I mean, he can't defend himself.
He's dead.
They should have done all of this at the time that it happened, instead of waiting this long after he's already deceased. I mean, that would have been the time to question him and looked into it, because he was living then.
I agree.
So
I agree wholeheartedly. Guys, we don't know Mr. Baldwin no more than we know Mr. Elam, no more than we know Mr. Davison or Mr. Rouse. We don't know these guys. In our hearts, we feel they've really done a misjustice to the Pusser family, the Vance family, Buford, Pauline, Dewana. They've done a disservice. They've done a disservice to Adamsville, to the community.
To Diane and Mike as well.
Diane and Mike and their children, Dewana's children. Done a disservice. They done it wrong. Only way they can correct that wrong, we don't look for it.
Right.
Except through the courts, maybe. Maybe through the courts, when it goes to trial in a civil case, they can vindicate Buford and Pauline, and be much easier. Mr. Roush, Mr. Davison, Oakley, Mike would get on stage and say, hey guys, upon further review, we made a mistake. Some of this was hearsay. Some of this was old people. Some of this was nothing at all. Some of it's garbage. Some of it's from books. That's it, babe. I'm done.
All right, guys. We hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. God bless.